Welcome back to a Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm going to continue my Robert Silverberg series, reading everything I can get my hands on by Robert Silverberg in order of publication. I'm up to number 7 in my Silverberg bibliography, which may or may not be perfect. There might be a couple missing things, which could, in the future, when I discover that fact, change a little bit about this bibliography. But otherwise, this bibliography is on my website, and that's what I'm looking at down here. Is I've got my website up on my iPad, and I'm looking at this Robert Silverberg bibliography, and Hole in the Air is number 7 by Robert Silverberg, and it is a short story that was published in Amazing Stories. I've been pulling a lot from Amazing Stories lately. Harlan Ellison and Isaac Asimov and now Robert Silverberg. They weren't considered the best science fiction magazine in the 50s, but they really did publish a lot of the authors that went on to do great things. And so this story appeared in Amazing Stories in January 1956. For this recording session, I didn't bring anything with to hold up, so I'll put it in there. I think I have that issue, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, it says right here on my webpage. I have Amazing Stories for January 1956, so I'll put that up here. It wasn't the cover story. So, Hole in the Air, what is it about? And I believe I took this text straight out of Amazing Stories. This is the intro text to the story. It says, at exactly the time Dirk Barish, love that name, realized he was about to lose everything, a small boy showed him the sure way to save it. Okay, this is a light story. It's not a joke story, but it's told with a little bit of light humor. It's got that, I don't want to say too much about it because it's got that Twilight Zone twist ending that was so typical of everything being written in the 1950s before Twilight Zone actually went on the air, which is why Twilight Zone was what it was, is it was drawing upon all the stuff that had already been published in the 1950s and early 1960s. And it was all this same kind of Twilight Zone style story. Anyway, I thought it was a good story. Not great, but enjoyable. I wouldn't put this in my top tales list. It's not that good. And I think we've been seeing a lot of that with Robert Silverberg, and I'm wondering if that's why my Robert Silverberg videos are doing so poorly on YouTube, is because this stuff is very early and is more simple. But even though nothing has been a top tale yet, there's been some really good stories in Silverberg's bibliography already. I mean, they're solid stories that, yes, they're a bit dated, but they're not bad. They're enjoyable. And we're only up to number 7. It's going to get better after a while. And I'm really thinking I'm going to find some real gems somewhere in these early Silverberg works. I just think there has to be something that people are overlooking that's really great, because Silverberg is a great writer. He is still alive. I don't think he's writing any fiction anymore. He does write regular columns. He writes a regular column for Asimov's science fiction, which is always very interesting and shows that he still has his mind about him. He's not got Alzheimer's going off the deep end. He still is sharp and intelligent and is still a great writer. And these stories really do illuminate where he came from, how he got his start. So I think they are awesome stories and worth reading if you like Silverberg. If you've read Hole in the Air or just have general comments about Silverberg to make, please leave them in the comments. I want to read them. I think, and in a public forum in the YouTube comments section on this video for everybody to see and enjoy, because it is interesting what other people, what kind of other perspectives that other readers have on these stories instead of just mine or Emily's, So leave your comments in there for us to read and enjoy. And come on back for the next Silverberg. Number 8 is going to be a story called A Woman's Right. And it may take a while before I get to that one because I don't have a physical copy of anything that has that story. And I know there's a couple avenues I can go down to get it, and I want to pursue those and try and get one of them. So it may be a little bit of a delay before I get to it, but I will get to it, and lots of other authors in the meantime. So come on back, because I'm going to be here doing this.